Welcome back to the Ref Show. The latest referee to admire Manchester City, Craig Pawson, did he do a little bit too much admiring and not enough being involved enough in the game? This was Manchester City 4, Spurs 1, and Gary Owen's going to talk about City football in a minute, which was a joy. But your view, this was a big showcase for Craig Pawson, wasn't it? A big game for him to impress.
I mean, he's been in the refereeing at that level for quite some time, so he's experienced. But I just think sometimes when the going gets tough, he's found wanting, and he just looks so indecisive in his decision making on Saturday. And we go on to there's a penalty incident, there's a push. What I'm seeing at the moment with some of our top referees, they're just getting too far detached from play, so they're going well wide, and then obviously the ball's going to be put into the box, and they're too far away to pick up the instance. Where is the danger zone? Where is that danger zone when the ball's going to come into the box? In the centre of the box. And they're out wide, and a lot of referees do it, so they're getting detached from play, they're not anticipating play, they're not reading play, and he's missing these big decisions.
Two key incidents here, we'll get Gary in on this. Dele, Alli, only a yellow card, should that have been red, and Harry Kane's challenge on Sterling. Those two. What cards were
in my day, it would have been a red card.
Right.
So, I mean, Dele Alli did, which I don't see very often. He turned sideways on to protect himself, and he went high over the ball, which Kevin De Bruyne should wake up this morning, or when he got off the turf on Saturday, and thank his lucky stars that he's not broke his ankle, broke his leg, because that can cause damage. And then Harry Kane, who I've never seen him do this, maybe frustration caused him. He lunged both feet off the ground, not straight forward, but on his side again, with one leg outstretched. Sterling got there first, caught him again. Again, Sterling's lucky it's not a serious injury, and we could have had two players that could be missing at an important part of the season.
But a concern with Dele Alli, the repeat behaviour to some extent here. He's getting involved in these a few times, isn't
he does petulant things, which is stupid, gets him yellow cards and red cards, we've seen it. But that was premeditated, because he saw De Bruyne coming for it, he saw it and he thought, right, listen, in my time, you'd have Souness, you'd have Jimmy Cage, you'd have Jerry Gow. You'd protect yourself because you think, no matter how high you go, they're going to go high. And sometimes you'd wait, and somebody else would take the ball because you wouldn't get there first. But Dele Alli just seemed to look for it. I'm not saying he intentionally went to hurt him, but he went to protect himself. By protecting himself, he went too high. He missed the ball, got the player, and Dele Alli could be waking up this morning thinking, what have I done?
Mark.
Well, Gary's absolutely spot on. I mean, the Harry Kane challenge, I just think that Craig's got himself all mixed up in play. His poor positioning, he's too close. He's got his back to it because he's looking back. He's too forward of play, should have just hung back a bit. But as I said earlier, his decision making was poor, and his recognition of those two offences was very poor of a referee at that level, a FIFA referee. He just looked in all his decision making in the game. He was just so indecisive, and you can see with both challenges. Now, all right, the first one he's in a poor position, but the second one with Alli, he's got a great view, but he's holding his hand to his ear, talking to the other officials. Now, why is he talking to the other officials? You know straight away. Good referees pick up those challenges and the red cards out straight away, and I just don't know why he hasn't sent them off, because they were clear in real time, wasn't they? You were in the stands. I know you were there. They were clear.
Let's brighten the conversation now, because Gary, you've been watching Manchester City for a lot of years. You can go way back. I mean, you can remember the Lee Bell Summerby team, which was a great team.
Then I came into the team after that in the early 70s.
No, but it was very good.
Oh, fantastic team.
Fantastic. And now, so where do we compare? We're looking now at a team runaway leaders in the Premier League and wiping teams away like they did 4-1 against Spurs.
Yeah, you can't compare. You can't compare in any era of football. This is the best I've seen. Even with the best United sides, the best Liverpool sides, this side is just, it's absolutely littered with individual players that are the best at the job. And put that together, unison, what a team that is. You try and defend high against them, as I've said, they get through you. You try and sit back, they get round you. Sooner or later, they beat you. I heard Dean Saunders speaking over the weekend, and he said, listen, I've been in football a long time, I don't know what you do. You just have to go with the plan and hope it works. But everybody's trying to plan and nothing's working. But trust me, we're not going to go all season yet unbeat. It's impossible. In my opinion, it's impossible. In this modern day, it's impossible to go all season and get beat. Yes, we've been beaten by Shakhtar. not saying Champions League because already been beaten, or a cup game, but if we go through the Premier League undefeated, I'm more than prepared to drive myself over to see both of you and buy you both and light ale.
How disappointing at the end. He says he's more than prepared to drive over, and I'm waiting for a 5-star, hotel meal in a restaurant.
Sheffield don't appreciate champagne. They're like a good old pint or a light ale. Don't worry about that.
What, just a bottle of light ale?
I thought it might be a nice bottle.
Anyway, we'll still hold him to it, won't we? Because I think he might be wrong. I think they might go the whole season.
Nah, I can't see it. I can't see it.
Anyway, your verdict, best ever, the best team you have ever seen.
Yeah, including the great Man United sides, including the great Liverpool teams.
Wow. Well, I can't disagree, can we?
No, not the way they're playing, no. Absolutely. It's fantastic to watch.
Right, a couple of maybe good refereeing performances. We need those over the weekend. You're looking surprised. You're going to not shoot me down in flames here. Stuart Atwell, Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. Roger East, Chelsea 1, Southampton 0.
But come out of the games unscathed, and obviously I think Stuart's been promoted back to the FIFA list as well. So that's well done, Stuart. But no, as a referee, Roger's come under a lot of criticism this season, under pressure for his performances. But it's nice to get a game under your belt where no one's talking about you. So well done, Roger. Okay,
Chris Kavanagh, somebody that you wanted to see in the Premier League used more often, a younger referee, had Brighton 0, Burnley 0, which wasn't without incident. I mean, we referred earlier to the dive by a Brighton player not punished, but the Tarkowski elbow into Brighton striker Murray, nothing given.
Yeah, I think Chris will learn from that. I mean, obviously, he's getting experience of refereeing in the Premier League, but it's about having the awareness of what's going on around you. And them two, him and Murray, have been at it all game. And I don't understand how he's missed it, because he's looking straight at it. Will the FA take action? Well, who knows? We saw Lukaku a couple of weeks ago commit an act of violent conduct. The free referee, the panel referee, said it wasn't violent conduct. So we've got to be consistent.
The fact that we're scratching our heads and asking the question is a bit of a concern, isn't it? Because we just don't know. Nobody seems to know quite where they stand on these.
All disciplinary matters. We just don't know what's coming out of the FA anymore. We do. With simulation, they charge some, Nassi, but they don't charge others. The same with acts of violent conduct. With a Lukaku, they decide that's not violent conduct. So they need to be more consistent.
But it's going all the way through. We can say the same about referees: inconsistency. Pawson gives the penalty for Liverpool, for Everton against Liverpool. But Mangala is as tall as that highest building outside, gets pushed, and if nobody sees that, there's something wrong, but doesn't give it.
But I'm going to come back on you on that. Okay, you can say Craig Pawson at Liverpool. Okay, it's about that 90 minutes at Liverpool. Now, as long as he's consistent in that 90 minutes, now. Come to City, it's a different 90 minutes. So was he?
It's the same offence.
But it's consistency within 90 minutes. Was he letting little pushes go all over the park?
Yeah, but
I'm not saying it's not a penalty, but you can't look at it and say, oh well, he gave that week in the Liverpool game. That's a totally different 90 minutes.
No, it's not. It's the same offence. If somebody gets pushed and he sees it as a
different referee, I know it's the same referee.
It should be the
different
same
referees have different tolerance levels.
Yes, but if the same referee gives one in 1 week, he's got to give it the next week.
But all you can ask as a referee is to be consistent over that 90 minutes, not with a 90 minutes that was a week or 2 weeks ago.
So you mean we can have the same referee, but it makes different decisions?
You can, yeah.
That can't be in anybody's thing. So, tell you what,
as long as a referee is consistent within that 90 minutes. I'm not saying it's not a penalty. I agree, it's a penalty. Okay, but you can't judge a referee on what happened last week into taking it into another game.
You can. A referee, and they all should be the same. Should all work with the same.
We've had the argument. Two sides to a same coin. Briefly, less than a minute to go. That I saw in Leeds 1, Norwich 0. Nelson Oliveira, the Norwich striker, goes down in the first half off the ball looking for a penalty. It may well have been. I've not seen the replay of that. But that same player later, touchline clash, handbags really. He goes down looking to get an opponent sent off, and I was really pleased to see him cautioned for that. So
that's good, absolutely. Well done, referee.
He might feel he should have had a penalty earlier, and he'd gone down, and so he's reacting in frustration later by taking a tumble like that.
That does happen when players.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
No, they don't. But sometimes players do that because they get upset with the referee because he's not giving them the decisions that they think they should get, and players take their own retribution.
Again, I'll ask the question: if something's going off the ball, there's 4 sets of eyes in there.
Yeah, and
nobody sees it.
That's been the recurring theme of the whole show. And thanks, guys. It's been brilliant, really entertaining. We'll see you again at the end of the season, Gary, for that light ale.
I'll tell you what, I'll go a bit further, I'll buy you 2 light ale.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll talk him up before that show. Thanks very much for watching, and a very Merry Christmas from the team at You Are The Ref. And we'll see you for a Christmas show as well. So
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.